People need to stop it with all this BS, this madness talk. You know what I mean? Deontay Wilder's not taking any step aside money, and he shouldn't have to take any step aside money. And he doesn't need to step aside to let these UK fighters fight, I guess, for undisputed, which won't happen anyway. They're not trying to fight for no damn undisputed. People keep on talking about this like $150 million deal that's, on the table from Saudi Arabia, and they can go out there and they can, do this big, huge match and for undisputed. But, the reality is, just like Anthony Joshua had the right to fight Andy Ruiz again, this man has a right to do the same as well. If that was the case, then Tyson Fury should have stepped aside, and Anthony Joshua should have stepped aside and let Wilder fight against Andy Ruiz for undisputed, because that was a huge fight in the United States, especially when you're talking about those two demographics. And then Andy Ruiz, an incredible bout that he had just come off, and the incredible win that he had just come off with what he did to Anthony Joshua. That was a monstrous fight for the U.S., especially, Deontay Wilder coming off beating Ortiz for the second time in the manner that he did. That was a monstrous fight in the U.S., a much bigger fight than Fury versus Anthony Joshua would ever be in the UK or anywhere else. That fight, we're talking monstrous. We're talking 2 million plus views type. We're talking about huge gates. We're talking about a lot of money, especially with having, someone like Fox there to promote and push that event, with the venue, with the setup that they have, being available to so many people when you're promoting it, and how great of a job they've been doing when it comes to promoting fights, period. It would have been a monstrous event, but no one was screaming that, he had to step aside. Anthony Joshua was like, no, I'm not stepping aside, and I'm going to do what I need to do to get my belt back. And now Deontay Wilder's in the same position, and he has a right to do the exact same thing, and he has to do it. Some people have said that maybe it might be okay for him to step off for a second, you know what I mean? Let them fight, and then as long as he can get the win or something like that. But no, he doesn't have that choice, because, a lot of people follow Deontay Wilder, but they don't follow him just because of what he does in the ring, but it's also about what he does outside of the ring and what he stands for. So him to take side, step aside money, him to step aside, it would just go against everything he supposedly stands for. You know what I mean? And what he stands for is a whole lot more important than any amount of money, period. And he has to stand on his own too. You can't just, have a certain stance when everything is going good. When things are going bad, that's when everything truly defines you. We see if you're really about that. You know what I mean? It would have been easy for Muhammad Ali to just, have a certain stance if he still was able to fight, if he was able to go overseas and fight over there, still make money or something like that. It's a whole different situation where everything's been taken away from you. You know what I mean? It's a whole different situation. And then he still had to stand on his own too. So now that things have gotten bad, with Deontay Wilder, obviously he's still able to make money, but now it's, you have a certain reputation. You know what I mean? Where a certain belief that you supposedly have, and then for you to be in your hardest, toughest moment to just walk away, you know what I mean? After being, pretty much stopped, I guess, not technically you weren't dropped and knocked out, but going through your hardest, roughest fight, for you to take your first loss and be in the space that you are in right now, for you to just walk away and to let these guys do something. I would feel a certain type of way about that as a fan. I'll tell you that much. I would feel a certain type of way about that, because then you put yourself into a situation where I got to question everything that you've been saying, that you quote stand for. You know what I mean? The man that you say that you are. I have to question all that because you took this hard, this hard loss. These guys are like, hey, put a little change in your pocket. Let's do our thing. And you're saying, okay, fuck that. Excuse my language, but forget all that. You got to go in there and handle your business and get back what's yours. And that's why, that's what I expect of him. And it seems as if that's what he expects of himself, And as far as all the fans, like I said, he has a right to go out there and get that belt back, or try to get that belt back. If he takes an L, then people can do whatever they want to do after that. But he has that right, and that's exactly what he should do, period. And as far as these two fighting, they're not fighting. I don't know what y'all thinking. Eddie Hearn and them are not putting that dude up in the ring against Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? With the reach Fury has, the boxing he has, now that he's shown that he's able to, not move and move straight forward and put some, weight into his punches, they don't want that. Versus someone that we've seen be shaky against people who are substantially less skilled over and over again, against somebody even with tight, Andy Ruiz coming in horrible, horrific, shape. He still lasted 12 rounds. He still wasn't hurt. Nothing. And this guy still had to move like a jackrabbit around that ring the whole time in order to keep from getting stopped, and keep from being in trouble. That's what Anthony Joshua did in a ring that was the size of Kansas. The ring was literally the size of Kansas. If you got into your car, you have to make sure that you have enough gas in it, because getting from one side to the other is going to take you a long time. And if you don't have enough gas, you're running out about halfway through. That's how big that ring was. That's what they needed to do in order to give this man a chance to win against Andy Ruiz. So do I see that happening? No. I go back to what they said. They got their little 8-year plan, and they want to make as much money as possible off this. The guy took a loss. They were able to rebuild that, reputation a little bit, and they're going to try to build him back up to what he was before, try to keep him out of danger, and try to make as much money as possible off him during the next 6 to 8 years. They're not looking at one fight. They're not looking at 2 fights. They're looking at career. They're looking at what they can do with this guy over the next 8, 9, 10 years. That's what they're looking at. So when you see all that money being put up in front of you, $75 million, like, wow, you know what I'm saying? You can have $75 million in that side alone. It's like, wow, your side could have, $80, $90 million. It seems like it's a lot of money. But when you look at it over, if you're looking at 10 fights, 12 fights, 14 fights, big fights in the UK, or if the Zone is coming to the UK, you know how much money the Zone's probably going to give Eddie Hearn in order to have Anthony Joshua on that? You know how much money they're probably going to make off the Zone with the deal that they probably have coming soon as their deal is done with Sky? You got to think about that. You think they're going to put all that in danger and take the chance of losing all that money? It's not happening, dude. They're not going to do that. They're going to try to keep him as minimum competition as possible, put him in guys that he can win against, and they're going to make sure they make bank off this dude. 75 million ain't nothing. 100 million is nothing compared to what the Zone's going to give them people. It's nothing compared to that. It's nothing compared to what they can make off this man over the next 6, 8, 10 years. It's pennies. And anybody thinks that man has a proper deal where he's getting paid what he's supposed to get paid, yeah, okay. They freaking Eddie Hearn basically picked out his trainer, his management team, his lawyer. Everything is worked for Eddie Hearn. Even his promotional company's run by Eddie Hearn. So somebody that's allowing you to do all that, you think they're gonna pay this man what he supposed to get paid? Trust me, Eddie and them are making a killing off that dude, and they're gonna continue to make a killing off that dude for a long time. And the likes of Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury is something that will not be in their immediate or in the immediate future anytime soon. And I'm talking about years. They're not putting that amount of money in danger. F no. They're making sure they make that bank. But again, it is what it is. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out. And stop falling for the bullish. You know what I'm saying? Don't get hyped up about stuff. Kind of sit back and look at things for what they really are. You know what I mean? Look at things for what they really are. Don't just, oh my gosh, yeah, they want to go get it. What does their history say? The way that they move, the way that they operate, what does that say? And if it goes against what they're claiming, that says it all. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.